Good day, one and all. Today we are going to talk about immunity and its types. As we are as a part of Corona, every day, every newspapers, every news talks with immunity and immune functions, vaccines. Those terminologies now become common to all. So hence, it is the study about immunity and its type is very important. So, what's immunity? So, refers to the resistance exhibited by any organism exhibited against any organism or any infection caused by microorganisms or their products. So, it is a resistance produced by our body against any organism like viruses, toxins, any product which is produced by microorganisms. So, this is based on the property of self and non-self recognition. So, uh, any organism which is coming from outside our body, we recognize as non-self. So, recognize a non-self is very important factor to raise an immunity against our body. Our own cells, we also have a lot of common cells in our body. Against our own cells, there won't be any immune reactions. So, the for raising an immune reaction, the organisms or cells which is coming outside the body, we should consider this as foreign. Then only we can tell that the immune system is, active, because for any foreign substances, our body will act against. So the means of immunity is carried out by process of recognition and disposal of non-self or material that are enter our body. So as I said, it is a reaction against any foreign body which is enter into our body. It's a protection. That is, the immunity is nothing but a protection which is produced by your body against any sort of infections. So there are human immunity is classified into two: innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is non-specific. That is in general for any viruses, any bacteria. Take it as corona, take it as influenza, take it as staphylococcus infections. Any organisms, there'll be a general immunity for a person. Then acquired immunity, that is very specific. That is, now we have taken the Covishield vaccine. That is only specific for particular coronavirus. That is acquired immunity, which is after getting the Covishield or Covax injection, our body is producing some immunity against that particular, not for other viruses, only for the particular coronavirus. So the type of immunity is classified into innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is our own body, that is the innate, means by birth itself we get that immunity. Some anatomical barriers which is present in our body can be under the innate immunity. Then phagocytic barriers also comes under innate immunity. Blood proteins and cytokines comes under innate immunity. Then acquired immunity is classified into passive immunity and active immunity. In case of passive immunity, it is naturally acquired and artificially acquired. In the case of active immunity, it is also again classified into naturally acquired and artificially acquired. So acquired immunity is mainly classified into passive and active immunity. For our passive immunity, there will be a naturally acquired passive immunity and an artificially acquired passive immunity. In the case of active immunity also, there will be a naturally acquired active immunity and a artificially acquired active immunity. So when we talk about the innate immunity, so it is based on the genetic constant of a person's. Why I said about the genetic constant, because there are few diseases, like there are a few tribes in South Africa, they never get infection with HIV because of their genetic makeup. So innate immunity, by birth itself they have that, they don't get that symptoms. So similarly, there are few symptoms or some diseases which generally won't get into some kind of or some species of persons, even though it is animals or it is human being, for it is restricted to certain species. So it comes because of the genetic and constitutional makeup, that is innate immunity. There's no relationship with the previous bacterial infection and immunizations. So there is no relationship with the immunization part. It is naturally, it is by birth itself, it is we are acquiring that particular immunity. So it is act as a first line of defense against infection. So whenever an organism comes in our body, our body try to, as a coronavirus when it initially comes in our body, suppose if we have a 10 persons in a family, there is not necessary that all the persons will get the coronavirus, because there are few persons in a family itself, they have high sort of immunity by their genetic makeup itself, they never get such kind of infection, but they can be a carrier. Similarly, it is a first line of defense mechanism. Like whenever a body, whenever an organism get into our body, though there's no need of that we should be vaccinated or not. Our body should be the maximum. It will try to expel the organism out of our body. So when they fail to have this innate immunity, when the innate immunity fails, only the organism will get into our body. So that's what all the organism also try. They have to defeat or compete with the innate immune system of our body, and then they have to invade into our body. So various type of non-specific defense mechanism present, that is anatomical and physical barriers, physiological and chemical barriers, biological barriers, and general barriers. So anatomical and physical barriers. In our body system, anatomical and by physiology itself, we have some barriers which won't allow the organisms to get in. Then chemical barriers, physiological and chemical barriers. The physiological barriers means there are due to some physiological aspects of our body, and chemical producers, like there are some chemically active compound which is produced by the immune system, will also prevent the entry of organism or the multiplication of organisms in our body. Then biological barriers, and there are some other general barriers which is present in our body, will prevent the or which will help the innate mechanism to work on. So let's have a look on what are the anatomical barriers. That is anatomical barriers, one of them is skin. So as we know, our entire body is covered by skin, and the skin is the most protective covering of our body, which won't allow most of the organism to get it. Then the skin is sometimes acidic environment, that is 3 to 5 pH, which retard the growth of other microorganisms in our body. Skin do have some commensals in our body that also fight against any organism which is come in our body. Then mucous membrane, our entire mucosal linings from nasal to our vaginal tract, or the ileum, jejunum, or the excretory tract, we call it as, all is covered by mucous lining number. So none of these organs are not directly cannot be infected with the organism, because the mucous lining will prevent the entry of organism, because the mucosal lining will have some villi-like structures to sweep off the microorganisms, or else they also have a particular site of commensals which is present in the mucosal lining, which will also won't let the other organism to come in. So it has to compete with the commensals which is present in our body. Then physiological barriers like a temperature. We all know, like temperature, when anybody get infection like microbial infection or viral infection, as soon as we get infection, we get temperature. Actually, we call it as temperature. We assume that temperature is as a disease, but temperature is not a disease. It is a physiological mechanism which is present in our body, which will try to expel this organism out. So body temperature and fever response inhibit the growth of some pathogens. Then pH. Acidic pH in the stomach, like pH2, kills most of the organisms. So you cannot, in our gastric system, we have low acidic pH. So this acidic pH which is present in the gastrointestinal tract won't allow any of the or most of the organism to grow on. Then phagocytic barriers like neutrophils, macrophages, and natural killer cells. So there are in our body system, there are a lot of phagocytic cells like neutrophils, macrophages, and natural killer cells. They will ingest and destroys the organism which is come in our body. Then like there's a mechanism called endocytosis or phagocytosis. By those mechanism, it will entrap and engulf a bacteria. As you might have studied in like the phagocytosis mechanism of amoeba in your 12th classes. So exactly the same thing it is happening. And the phagocytosis mechanism is any microorganism which is coming in our body will be entrapped or phagocytosed by this sort of cells. Then inflammatory barriers, leakage of vascular fluid containing serum protein with the antimicrobial activity. So the vascular fluid will get leakoid, and the fluid containing serum protein which with the antibacterial activity. So what are the physical and chemical barriers? These barriers prevent the entry of pathogen to resistant infections. So physiological, these are the barriers that will prevent the entry of pathogen to resist infections. These includes skin, mucous membrane, coughing and sneezing. So what are the physical barriers which is help to remove the microorganisms from our body? They are mostly the skin, then the mucous membrane, then coughing and sneezing. Other physiological and chemical barriers are, one is human milk. So it is, as you know, human milk, especially the babies which is fed with human milk. When we compare the babies which is fed with human milk and the babies which is unfed with the human milk are having a different sort of innate immune mechanism, because those or kids which is not fed with human milk are prone to infections than the other one, because the human milk containing definitely some immune boosters or like antibodies like IgA, immunoglobulin A antibodies, and it also containing lactoferrin, important protein which will help in the defense mechanism, the neuramic acid, and all this together fight against E. coli, streptococcal, all the pathogens like other bacteria and viruses. So human milk is a very good, though it is an excretory product, not it is a secretional product, not excretory, it is a secretional product, but it is having a lot of antibacterial activity. Others, secretions of the digestive tract. So other than human milk, we will also have secretions in the digestive tract that is also having some microbicidal effect. This is due to the presence of HCl. We all know our gastroenteric juice, that is in gastrointestinal tract will have flooded with HCl. So this HCl never, it is a pH of 2, it will never allow other organism to grow. So next is nasal secretion and saliva. So as we know, our nasal secretions and inside the nacus we are hair-like structures. Those all will prevent the entry of pathogens, and that will suppose we inhale, if the organisms is coming as air droplet, that will get trapped near the hairs which is present in the nasals. And even our saliva also will trap most of the organisms, and it will try to expel out most of the organisms. But even though we have all this mechanism, most of the organisms having the ability to overcome this mechanism and get into the infection. Next, interferons. Interferons are nothing but antiviral compound which is present in our, which is produced in our body. And other than the interferon, there are complement. Complements are then some, we call it as some chelators or enhancers in the immune system, which will help in the antigen antibody reactions. And if you look at the skin is having, is called made up of squamous cells, hair follicles, dendritic cells, melanocytes, and sebaceous. Most important is the sebaceous gland, which is produced by the skin. So these epidermis part of the cell is, which is embedded with the sebaceous fluid, as well as the common cells microorganism which is present in the skin, that will help to degrade this any organism. It will prevent the entry of many of the pathogen which is comes through the skin. Then the mucous membrane, as we will know, the mucous lining. So in the GIT, respiratory tract lined with mucous membrane, it blocks many of the or microbes or organism which is come through it by its sticky nature. It will entrap through its sticky nature. Then the coughing and sneezing. So another thing, we may think the coughing and sneezing may be a disease, but it is not. It is not a disease. It's a mechanism or an immune mechanism to expel out the organism which is present in our body, especially in the respiratory tract. What are the biological barriers? So, biological barriers are the mononuclear phagocytic system, which is called reticuloendothelial systems. So, these biological barriers are like endocytosis. There are few organ cells which is capable to endocytosis of the uh, pathogens which is entering into our body. So it is endocytosis is a process which absorbs materials from outside of the environment by engulfing them with the cell membrane. So with the help of endocytosis mechanism, by engulfing the exogenous material with the help of cell membrane, it won't allow most of the pathogen to enter in our body. So there are two type of endocytosis that has phagocytosis and pinocytosis. Phagocytosis generally for the solid material and pinocytosis generally for the liquid material. And these are the type of this endocytosis mechanism. So or any this is phagocytic mechanism which is here there is a this cells is having macrophages will have pseudopodia on their surface, just like I said, amoeba. So whenever an organism comes in, it will get trapped inside the pseudopodia. Once it's trapped, it form a phagosomes. So inside the phagosomes, it will degraded with the help of an enzyme called a lysosome or and phagolysosome, and it will get degraded. Once it degraded, it will give to class 2 MHC molecule, and the class 2 MHC molecule will present this degraded, either it will remove outside after degradation, either this degraded material can be exocytosis, that is this is the endocytosis, that is the organism which is coming and then degradation. After the degradation it come out, we call it as exocytosis, or else the same molecule, that is degraded molecule, will present by the MHC molecule to some other antibodies. So this is the mechanism. Either way it can be get degraded. So we all now we have seen about that what are the barriers, what are the immune mechanism which is present down our body. Now we are going to see about what are the types of innate immunity. That there are three types of innate immunity: species immunity, racial immunity, and individual immunity. What is a species immunity? So it is a total immunity shown by the members of species against a pathogen. Example, birds, they are immune to tetanus. So species immunity is a total immunity shown by all members of a species. So entire members of the species will be against or cannot be infected with a particular virus or bacteria because of this species immunity. So for example, birds are immune to tetanus. So tetanus organisms cannot be Clostridium, we call it Clostridium tetani. Tetani cannot be infected to birds. Next is racial immunity. Within the species, there will be some races, that is some various races to mark difference in the resistance to infectious diseases. As I said before regarding the HIV, some race of African countries cannot, they are not infected with HIV because of their racial immunity. So it cannot be, so suppose human beings is taken as a species, so a part of the species can be considered as race. Next is individual immunity. Now the species is an entire species, and racial immunity is among the species a group of people. Now in the species every individual, so that is called individual immunity. So very specific for each and every individual despite having racial background and opportunity for exposure. So They might have an opportunity for exposure. They might have a racial background. Even if some individuals, as I said before, if 10 persons in a family, there is a chance of one person cannot be get infected and the rest of the people can infected. That is called individual immunity. So every individual have its own their own immunity. So moving on to academic. So far we looked at passive immunity. Now we are moving on to the other part of immunity called acquired immunity. As the name indicates, it is an acquired or adapted immunity of developed by host after exposure to suitable antigen. Upon exposure to suitable antigen, one's body will get some sort of antibodies or after transfer antibodies or lymphocyte from an immune donor. So, what are the characteristics of an acquired immunity? Their antigenic specificity, their diversity, immunological memory, self or non-self recognition. These are the major characteristics of acquired immunity. What is antigenic specificity? It should be specific. For a suppose for a coronavirus, the antigen should be very specific, or the immunity against that particular antigen alone. So it cannot be that the antibody produced in the body cannot be expelled any other organism, only coronavirus. So diversity. So within there will be a large number of diversity among the acquired immunity and immunological memory. That is diversity is also can be say like there will be a lot of immunoglobulins which is produced our body for specific functions like IgA, IgM, like that. Then immunological memory. Immunological memory means once the infection is occurred, second time the same infection comes, our body will remain and it will try to expel the organism as early as possible from the body. Then self or non-self recognition. Our immunological system can recognize what is self, what is our body's, whether it is our own cells or a foreign cells. So as I said, when a foreign cells comes in our body, definitely we will produce antibody or immunological mechanism against that particular antigen. But if it is considered self, our body will keep quiet. So one is the example is self and non-self is like if you are accustomed that from the childhood itself. So we consider if our immune system is taught or treated or educated uh, from the beginning of our birth itself, that these are our own cells, these are our own antigens, these are our own body cells or body part. So never our antibody will never raise any sort of antibody against, or our immune system will never raise any sort of antibody against that particular cells. That is called a recognition of self with the non-self. As I said, there is acquired immunity is classified into active immunity and passive immunity. What is active? Active is individual's own immune system that cause the immunity. So active means the individual's own immune system is the cause of the active immunity. That can be natural or artificial. Antigens are introduced through natural exposure is a natural, and antigens are deliberately introduced in a vaccines. That is the artificials. Here, the antigens are the main factors which will enhance the immunity. Here directly we are not giving any sort of antibodies here. Here antigens are in being giving by any sort of by any once it is by natural methods means through any infections. Once an infection occur in our body, the antigens will be there so that it will be produced immune system against that against that particular antigen. Artificial means the antigens are purposefully introduced in our body like vaccines. Yeah, and after the antigen is getting introduced, the body will produce certain antibodies. Passive immunity is transfer from one person to another. So what is passive immunity is already some immune antibodies are there which is raised in some persons. Now this we call it as convalescent serum, that is pooled serum, which is obtained from a healthy individual. They have certain antibodies against a particular antigen, or the persons which is required from certain infections also will have a particular antibody against the infection which is they got recovered. That antibodies can be taken and they can artificially introduce in our body. So that also can be classified as natural and artificial. Natural are antibodies from the mother are transferred to child across the placenta. That is natural because when a child is in womb, the mother needs to protect. When a child is in womb, the mother needs to protect the antigen. I mean, mother needs to protect the particular fetus in their body in the womb. So it needs to produce certain antibodies to protect that fetus. So naturally it has to transfer through the placenta to the baby. Then artificial is, as I said before, anyone is having antibody for the immediate recovery, they will take the antibody from one person and inject to other person. That is the artificial method. So in acquiring of immune from outside sources known as immunity, as we know, there are two activation or two major group of cells which is present in the acquired immunity. They are lymphocyte and antigen presenting cells. So lymphocytes are the immune cells which is present in our body that act on acquired immunity, and antigen presenting cells are also, we call it as, the short form is APCs. They are also have the ability to produce acquired immunity. So how it is produced? By it is initiated, this immunity is initiated by recognition of foreign antigen and respond to the recognition. So it is an adaptive and has four important features. This acquired immunity is highly adaptive and it is having four important general features, like it should be very specific, antigen should be very specific, and it should be very diversity, and that is antigen should be diverse in nature so that the different types of antibodies can be produced against this particular antigen. Then our immune system should have an immunological memory and it should be recognized from self to non-self. So as I said, it is two type, active and passive. So in a nutshell, we can say an active is naturally acquired and artificially acquired active immunity, and passive immunity is also naturally acquired passive immunity and artificially acquired passive immunity. So these are the there are two type of immunity which can be discussed later, that is humoral immunity and cellular immunity. So what are the major what do you call it as humoral immunity, what is called as cellular immunity? These are the major two type of immunity which is present, that is humoral means an antibody mediated immunity, and cell mediated immunity is called a cellular immunity, where the T cells are the major factors which is involved in the cellular immunity. We call it as T cells mean thymus cells, and humoral immunity is produced by B cells. It is called as antibody mediated immunity. So antibody mediated immunities are produced by B cells. So this are the major two type of humoral immunity. Thank you. Thank you all for the patient listening.